There was a problem with buying food in the mid and early 19th century, and it wasn't just that there wasn't enough food to go around, it's that the food that was there was often adulterated. Everybody knew this. Everybody knew that vendors were padding out their bread flour or adding things into meat to make it look a little bit nicer and maybe taste a little fresher than it actually was. Everybody knew that, but proving it was very, very difficult. This was a big problem in the major cities like London, where people relied on vendors and shops to get their food rather than just making it themselves. In fact, in 1850, an MP spoke out in the House of Commons to say, yes, we know that people are adulterating our food, but there's just no way of proving it. We can't possibly know. Well, hold my fucking beer, said this guy. Dr. Arthur Hassel. Now, not only does he have an epic pair of sideburns, but he was a dab hand with the microscope. Microscopes had been around for a few hundred years before the 19th century, but they didn't get really, really good until his time. And he was the first person to use it in public health. He wasn't just looking at blood samples. He decided, bollocks to this, I'm going to look at food samples. And he teams up with the Lancet Medical Journal in 1850, and they set about gathering thousands and thousands of samples of food and beer and tobacco and just everything from all around London, methodically labelling it and cataloguing it and then testing it. And what they found was horrific. This is a small section of just one of the reports. It was published all throughout the early 1850s, but this is the kind of things that they are finding. So up there where it says bread was being adulterated with mashed potato, water, and then later on it's actually being adulterated with lard as well. They found that. Butter is being adulterated with water. That's also being adulterated with lard. The lard itself was actually potatoes, flour, and water. Look at this one, tea, right underneath me. That was found to just be mostly reused tea leaves. Or in some cases, it wasn't tea at all. It was just random leaves. Cocoa, that's right underneath me. That was found to have been adulterated with all kinds of crazy crap. Tapioca, corn, sago, potatoes, all kinds of stuff, but not chocolate. Here was one of the most dangerous things that they found. That one there, right up at the top. Coloured confectionery. So this is sweeties being sold to children, and it was found that in almost every sample that they had, those sweets had been coloured with things that contained lead, mercury, and copper. They found that things like potted meats, which is listed up here somewhere, just there, potted meats and fish, it was often not the fish that was advertised. It was long past its best, and it had been coloured with red paints in order to make it look fresher and to disguise the taste. These reports discovered that not only was adulterating food even more widespread than people feared, it was actually the norm rather than the exception. And it had an overnight impact because they published the name and addresses of the vendors. You can imagine that they were pissed, but Dr. Hassel's methods were so foolproof that nobody ever sued him. Well, one person tried to sue him, but the case fell apart. And this work led to the first Food Adulteration Act in 1860. Which didn't put a stop to it immediately, but it certainly made a dent, and that act was revised again and again and again until it leaves us with the codes and ethics around food production that we've got today. And hopefully nobody today is eating bread that is actually potatoes, lard and alum. Thanks, Dr. Hassel.